Soft Strangulation, which was an old favorite.
Yeah, I love that song, man.
That one was a real, like, to me, like, sort of like a precursor, like, thing, like, song style to come. Like, it was just
that was
like
a journey. That one went on a little bit.
Yeah.
It starts
was-
right away. Everything comes in right at the very beginning, including the vocals. It kind of does like this breakdown-ish kind of. See, again, never chorus because I was never singing over it, but it's like the chorus riff, and then it kind of goes back, and then it does a stop where it builds up. It's like this, and it always reminded me because the first time I heard the vocals like played back to me, and when I'm talking, like the talking vocal,
And it's, like,
your
repeating.
weakness, and it's building up. It only makes me strong, whatever. I heard it. I'm like, why do I sound exactly like the singer from Unearth? Like my voice just sounded like him when he talks because he do that talking voice, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just happen to talk like him, I guess. What's the singer's name?
Trevor?
Trevor, right?
Trevor, yeah.
I always get confused because I'm always like, isn't there another Trevor that's a singer in the band? And
I'm sure there's plenty of Trevors that
well,
sing
there
in
is.
bands.
Isn't it Black Dahlia Trevor also?
Oh yeah, Trevor. Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
bands that are like not similar, but like kind of, you know,
In
same
that
era, same
wheelhouse.
Yeah, same wheelhouse, exactly. But anyways, so I sounded like him. I always thought it was funny. But after that part, that build up, it has that total like hardcore breakdown.
We have an 808. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dun, da-na-na-na.
Actually, that was more like a Slayer breakdown or something, right? Like that was
Yeah.
like but then
Well,
it
it
goes
was,
out of,
yeah.
yeah, right.
Definitely.
It wasn't just like your typical just open. It had that was the
Right.
thing. Whenever we did breakdowns, we never like there wasn't. It was not common where we would just do open.
No.
Very rare that we just do.
We would throw something in there.
We didn't
right?
do chugga chugga at all.
Not a lot of it. And usually you were a lot of times, Lon, you were even you were following us, but you weren't following what was expected breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah, because I was
too.
still learning double bass around that time.
Well,
so.
not only that, it kind of made it. I feel like we did it intentionally to like. There's that, but there's also like the intentional. Like we don't want it to just be following exactly what's going on. We want to change it up a little bit. You know.
Well, that was the thing that because there was a lot of that kind of paint by numbers stuff around that time. you know, and we were
Right.
like- yeah, we didn't really want
Like every
on
band
that.
sounded the same. It was just
Yeah,
like
a lot of them. I mean, that always happens in any scene, right? There's that handful of bands that like kind of rise to the top and hold their own and are really good, and then there's all like the copycats.
yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah.
So
I
and we didn't
remember
wanna-
in
and we
that
didn't wanna
song.
be oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say in the beginning how you inhale, and I remember when we were like cutting it up, and how you take that first breath, and you were like, "We got to keep that." Like, and Scott was like, "Yeah, that sounds really cool." Like,
Oh, like I took a breath. Yeah.
yeah, you take the breath, and then
Got
I
it.
remember when we were writing that, when you came to me with it, and it was just like, oh my god, like there are so many parts, like my little 20-year-old brain couldn't like. I was like, I had to like sit and like break it down. I was just like, there's this section that goes to this section, this section. I remember telling a friend at work, I was just like, Carlos wrote this song, and it's like the craziest song we've ever written.
But you wrote the outro part, the really melodic part. Didn't you write that riff?
We came up with that when we were working on it, but the actual like melody itself, yeah, I came up with it.
Yeah. And that rhythm behind it, since we were talking about it, it's Poison the Well. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Totally.
it's not, but that's what, you know. Oh, let's write the Poison the Well part.
And there's a really cool Matt solo on that part.
Yeah, that's right.
Ever elusive Matt solo, because it didn't always happen. But that's a really good solo. That build up
Happy Joe.
That's a really good one though.
Yeah,
I remember
that little pulling off part that kind of goes lower in the lower register. That's cool. But the better part of that solo is the build up at the end. Like, yeah, dude, that's clean.
I remember working on that at home and just like I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. And
felt
so
like Kirk Hammett in Year and a Half.
Yeah.
Huh?
I did. I
I
seriously
did my
like,
homework.
I broke it down into sections. Like, okay, I'm gonna descend here, and then I'm here. So I'm gonna do something, and I'm gonna go back up, and then I remember the little
Yeah.
part. I remember I was like, I have to do something in the vein of Reflux because he was so good.
Oh yeah,
So,
that was another one we were listening to back then.
yeah, in my head, I was like, I got to do something that Tosin would do, but obviously he would do it way
You know
better.
what's crazy? They popped up on like a mix that I had the other day, and I was like, man, these songs are good. But I'm like, damn, Tosin was good, but he was sloppy.
Oh yeah.
It was sloppy, and I bet you it had a lot to do with the recording because when he
I'm
did
sure
it
they
live,
it was like rushed.
because when he did it live, he
Probably.
was like insanely good back then.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good. Like, holy crap, what is he doing? But like the recording's kind of sloppy, and it's like, man, he like we always knew he was gonna be like one of the best, you know? He's like, this guy's way too good. But then once Reflex ended and he like disappeared for however many years to go do his like, I think he went to like music school. And
Yeah,
then
he
he
went to
came back and we heard those Animals as Leaders demos. I remember we heard him in a van in Prosthetic Bob. Remember Prosthetic Bob? His van. We were in Downey playing a show at the, what is it? Epic? What was it called?
Epic Lounge.
Epic Lounge? And he's
Yeah.
like, I got these demos that it wasn't even Animals as Leaders. Like Tosin did these demos. He's doing some solo thing, and it's just guitar and like drum machine or whatever. And or just
Yeah.
like this
I
guy.
remember
And we were
that.
waiting for him to like, when is
Oh,
he
yeah, it
ever going
was
to do
great.
something again? Because it was so good. Like everyone in Reflux was so good. He was amazing. Evan was like the most ridiculous bassist ever. The drummer, I don't even remember what the drummer's name was. And I don't even know if he did anything after that, but he was so good too. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
damn it. They were a good ass band. A lot of
That,
albums.
that was an influence back then for sure.
Yeah, for
Huge. It was like this young kid just like came out of nowhere and it was like, whoa. Like
sure. It's like, oh, Guitar Hero. And it was weird because, yeah, back then it was just, there wasn't dudes shredding really anymore.
Oh, no.
right. That was a big thing
And he
too.
just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this guy. And he was all over the place. Sweep picking, he was tapping, and of course the best thing that he did, which I wish everyone could have gotten to experience, because now everything's you play to a track and it's easy, right? But back then he did it the OG way, or I don't know if it's OG, but he was the only guitarist. So when there would be leads playing behind him, he would have that loop machine,
The boomerang.
the boomerang.
Yeah.
He would loop, he'd record his lead, and then stop
do
it
the
at a certain
rhythm
point,
over it.
and it would play over
Yeah.
through the PA or through his speakers while he's playing the rhythm behind it. It was like, oh my God, like we were like, where's that sound coming from? And it was him, and he would have to like tap it on time so it keeps starting at the same point while he was playing the rhythm. Now the track just plays and you play,
Yeah.
And everyone's
And
got
that
like their
never hurts.
in-ears and they're
Oh
playing
my
the
God.
clicks.
It was
Like-
his pedal board had like a million chords and pedals, and like it would always mess up. I remember he would just always have to bring it. But yeah, that was the coolest thing, watching him loop in real time, loop a lead,
Right.
and then play rhythm behind it live. Like that's insane. It was,
Like, you know how exact you have to be to not have
Yeah.
that,
yeah,
like even the
yeah.
teeniest bit off, and it
Yep.
was like,
And they had the whole
Time.
band had to be in the pocket, just on time, dude. Forget about it. Anyways,
Phenomenal.
hey,
tangent.
how remember when Lon lost his Reflex sweater on tour? You were so mad.
Dude, I'm still bummed out about that, dude.
That was the Night of the Living Shred one, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, Night of the Living
Oh
Dead.
man.
I lost that. I lost my green towel also, I remember.
I can't even remember how many things I lost on tour. Too
Yeah.
many things. Most
Oh, I
biggest thing I
remember.
lost on tour was my dignity, though. I think that was the biggest.
Pride, yeah.
Pride, dignity.
I never had any of that. So.
Yeah, so I never
Just the sweater and a
started
towel.
on the bottom, stayed
Right,
on
right.
the bottom, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
lost it all.
Lost it all, but never had anything to begin with. So there you go.
Oh man.
So what were we talking about? So
Okay, so that was
self-strangulation.
so that melodic
Oh, yeah.
part, self-strangulation, very good. After self-strangulation,
Right.
Redemption?
Redemption, which is
Yeah.
another one that was from Eschatology.
yes, it was from the
Which,
Eschatology EP.
That was another song that was, we were really stoked on that one.
A lot of people liked that one back in the
Yeah.
day. A lot of people
Yeah.
did.
They like the intro, and then they like really like the breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played that one a lot live.
Yeah, people like that one. People dug that one. That was a good one.
Because it really builds, you know, like there's a slow intro, and then the fast part, and then the breakdown.
And another elusive Matt solo. It's like,
yeah,
it's like a solo in that bridge part, right? Right?
It's like a horrible little like 30-second thing.
It's not. It fits perfectly, and it's so good. And it's hard to hear because there's vocals over it. There's like everything's going on at once. It's not just like a solo to where it's like isolated, but it's there and it's awesome. Because there isn't really another solo in there, right? That's it.
Is there a solo in Redemption?
No, that's it. No. And then the other part where it slows down and it does that like cool off thing. Lon actually wrote that riff. And it was funny because he wrote it in a way where the timing was completely different from the way I heard it. So when I was let's use that riff. And then I added a couple things like to it, to like the main riff to make it like, you know, expand it. And so Lon would always have trouble coming in on time. And it wasn't because you didn't know the timing. It's just because the way you wrote it was so ingrained in your head that you were like, I can't hear the way you hear it, but I'm just going to come in when you come in.
I remember you used to play it and you would have to stop. So you go, and like say this is the last part, and you'd stop and you go, and when
I did that for effect. First it was for counting, but then I did it for effect to just stop it. But you know, me and Londo always look at each other and stuff. But I think, it's like it was programmed in your brain a different way because you wrote it a different way. The timing was like it came in on like the opposite beat or something.
But because that was just a separate riff that I had, like just on my own. You know?
Right. And then when I adopted it and said I'm going to do something with it and make it and it fits, you were just like, oh shit, this isn't like what I wrote, but all right.
Yeah.
So it was always kind of like a here we go. Into that first, you know.
But I like it because it's very like tense, you know. It's like a very tense part.
Yeah. And it gets it's like that, and then it goes back into the freaking
fast.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like the chorus kind of.
Yeah. And then of course outro with that breakdown.
And we for the when Rolly touched it up, we redid that, and actually the end strangulation too.
That's right. Yeah.
Just to make it cleaner.
Like we in the original recording, it didn't ascend the.
Yeah. And we started.
That was just something we would do in practice.
We did that live, and we're like, that's cool. And so we're like, re-recorded it. That was always the thing. Anytime bands ever like re-recorded or remastered or remixed certain songs, I'd get mad if they changed anything. And then once I did it, I was like, oh, I get it. Like
I like it now.
I love it.
Yeah. I like having different versions, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure. And everyone's like, ooh, which version? This one? And then you hear and then the really in tuned like music people would like notice those little for some reason I remember a story, this girl that I used to know. Well, I still know her, but I don't really talk to her. But back then she used to come to our shows all the time. Mm-hmm. And then we had Seventh Vial on Eschatology, and then we recorded for Architecture. And I remember her just going like, "Oh, the solo's a little different." I'm like, "Yeah, like you noticed that?" She was like, "Yeah, that's." I think she even said like, "I like the other one better." But I just remember her being like, "Oh," and it was weird to me just because she wasn't like a musician or anything. To me, I think like someone like that would know. But you know, some people are just in tune music fans, and they notice those things.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. It's like, well,
I should have said, "Hey, shut up."
They used to come to our shows, but then you know you go to shows and then you become friends with the people at your shows because you're like, oh, I don't know you. Like, you're not my immediate friends. Who are you? And then you're like, oh, and then you become friends. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I
so
remember
weird
that.
that I remember that. Like, things that I remember random. I don't remember like really important things, but I remember that. So the last track. I think we're on to the last track.
Yeah, so the last track is Escape the Aftermath. Which, if I remember correctly, that was kind of like a tribute to Dimebag in a sense, right?
Was it that one? No, that wasn't it. Different album. Was it that one?
Yeah, because that's around the time that Dimebag passed.
It may have been, but I totally remember us writing that in rehearsal. It was like a jam song.
No, wasn't that So Let It Rain? Wasn't that on Exist? There's a lot of songs we wrote, guys.
Yeah, it could have been.
We have a lot of songs.
I remember we came up with like 99% of it was all from jamming. I remember I even remember the end part, that just like coming up with that at Hot House.
That's a journey also right there, that song. That's a good journey.
I'm looking it up because I don't remember the lyrics. I know. I don't.
Want me to tell you the lyrics? I have them right here.
Oh, you have them?
Oh yeah, he has them.
I'm just doing
Says,
yeah, go ahead.
no-
Tell me.
No regrets, fuck the past, escape the aftermath.
Isn't that the end?
No, wash us away. Oh, no. See, I'm
Yeah,
mixing up.
wipe it away, wash it
Wash it
away.
away.
Forget this, forgive me. It's not worth the agony. Cry a river, let it all out for me. But just today, tomorrow we live again.
I haven't talked much about any of the lyrics because at the end of the day, I'm not a very good lyric writer, and especially back then. Here's the thing about my lyrics. There's no subtlety behind them. It's very obvious what they're about. I'm not exactly a wordsmith, right?
Yeah.
But I have gotten better, but back then, still a lot of girl problem songs, right? Like,
You were young. You're a young man back then.
yeah,
Yeah, you write what you know.
yeah, getting my heart broken and writing all about it, right?
But you know what? Now that I'm a little bit older,
20-year-old heart.
I don't like finding out what song lyrics are about.
Yeah,
these
I know. Same.
It's a bum out sometimes, right?
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it can be. Yeah.
So,
When you're like, I love that song, but it's about some fucking bullshit.
so there's,
But,
again,
actually, at the Poison the Well show last January, and they played The Realist, and he said like, this song's about being brothers, and I was like, oh, it kind of ruin it because I was like, oh, there's that one part, but he's singing about his brother. I thought he was singing to a girl.
no, I think it's about like his dad, right?
He
Like
said
his
it was
dad.
about being brothers.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah.
Whatever.
There's one experience I have with asking about the lyrics. You're gonna laugh, but it was Haley from Paramore.
Cooley?
They played somewhere in Anaheim, I think, and it was when Riot came out, and me and Richard, my best bud Richard,
Yeah,
stayed
the
out
picture
there.
of you guys with her,
Yes.
and she has
So
the
she has
toothpaste,
toothpaste on her face because she came out with toothpaste on her face because she said, "Oh, it gets rid of zits." So she obviously back then didn't give a shit, right? She was just like, now she's like pop icon or whatever.
Yeah.
But I asked her about
Makes
us one of their songs is like my favorite song of theirs, and I asked them like, "What is it about?" And then she like told me, and I was like, kind of like, yeah, in my head thinking like, no, I like my interpretation better. Because there's like a
Ruined it
lyric in
for
there
me.
that's like really, really cool. And I was like, oh, that's such a good lyric. And
Mhm.
I asked her about it and she told me. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, thank you for that. Thinking in my head, like, yeah, I like my interpretation better. So I was, yeah, kind of going to that, like, yeah, just kind of make what you want of it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what lyrics should be for. Anyway, Escape the Aftermath. That song has like a million different parts.
Totally.
But
It
it's-
does.
I feel like I always wanted to do that though. That was always in my head. Like last track should always be like the weirdest one. And I think even to this day, like even on our
Sort
the
of.
newest album, on God Is the Light, the last track is kind of the one that's like the most different than all the other ones, right? I just was always about that life. I don't know why.
That is weird because I don't think we've ever subconsciously really decided to do that.
I did.
It happened.
Really?
Kind of. Not on this new
Okay.
one. Not.
You never told me about it, buddy.
Well, here's what I did. Other
Something you want to tell me?
These other albums, I think I wrote songs and then decided like this is like the strangest one, so I want to put it at the end. Not like I wrote it to be the last track, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so I guess subconsciously, right? I didn't plan for it to be the last song, but it's like, this is a weird song, and it goes in like a million different places. It could only be at the end, like, you know?
I remember after we played a show with Animosity at Chain, and I think it was this album had just come out, and the part on that song, the like breakdown in the dun dun zin dun dun zin dun dun zin.
Oh yeah, good. That's a good part.
I remember Leo and Frank were right in the front, and I just remember Frank started moshing at that part, and I was like, we made Frank mosh, like, you know, he's like the riff master, you know.
So you gotta understand, Animosity was another one of those bands that we played many shows with, and we're so grateful because, again, these guys are like top-notch musicians, top-notch just like dudes, and they were younger than us, but we look up to them because they were so good.
Like, you listen to it and you're just like, where is this coming from?
Animosity is maybe
up to their name.
Maybe one of the best bands ever. Like, for real. Like, for real. They were so ahead of their time. So ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And like every band that's ahead of their time, they ended way too soon. You know what I mean? Like, they only had, 3 albums out? So it's like, but all of them are just ridiculous, dude. Like, if you took away if you took instrument by instrument and like just like isolated each of them, you would think there's not even a song being played.
Right.
Because it's so all over the place. So drum wise, he's just like, it would just sound like a drum solo. And if you left the guitar by itself, it would just be like, where is he going with this? It just works, man. And then Leo is just like the most gnarly like front man. Just like, so good. So yeah, that's a compliment if Frank from Animosity was moshing.
Yeah. I remember seeing him. I could see him in my head. He had like a backpack on, and I was just like, oh damn, like that's so cool.
All right, we wrote a cool riff because he moshed to it.
Yeah, like he likes it. All right. I'm like, I can't believe he thinks that we're heavy because they were just like so heavy.
And I'm trying to think of how that song ends.
It's with the
is it that circle pit part? That total thrash riff at the end. Oh, that's so sick.
That was us just jamming. That came from us just jamming. I remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing about that song is we never really played it live. We only played it like a couple times.
We actually played that part though, like that circle pit part. I think there were times where we'd like.
I think we have.
I don't think we opened with that. Like, that would be our intro, or like, I don't know what we did with it, but a few times we played just that part. Yeah, those, yeah. I mean, the reason we didn't play those songs was because, like, I mean, whenever we played a show, we had 25, 35 minutes to play, right?
Yeah,
and that's it.
You gotta play.
Writing a lot of music.
So we played the five, like, just heavy hitters that just knock you on your ass, and then that's it, and get the hell out of there, right? Yep. You don't have time to play the 7-minute or whatever track, however long it was. That one wasn't that long, but it was like probably 6 minutes long.
It was like 6 minutes or something.
Yeah, so it's like, you don't have time. I got time for that.
Right.
You know, got to get off the stage, man. So no one wants to hear that. So,
fuck that.
Yeah, I know. So, we didn't often get to play those kinds of songs live, but every now and again we'd play, like, when we played Samsara, and like, Heal My Wound, we played Heal My Wound and things like that. So those are fun.
We played all the other songs quite a bit.
I don't think we ever did.
Even like Welcome to Your Letdown, you know? That was like
man.
When we had to work in every now and then.
Yeah. And that was fun when we did that anniversary show. We got to play those songs. But that's a whole other album. That's for another episode. But
chill.
So that's all the songs, man. Holy crap.